This is Angela Powerhouse Williams, and on this video, I am going to show you how to set up your charts using the MetaTrader phone app. Now, I am using an iPhone. I am going to reach out to some other business partners in the group who may have Android, who can possibly go through this process and record it for you so that I can help people who have Androids. So let's get started. So what I am going to do is I am going to go to MetaTrader 4. You want to make sure that you have MetaTrader 4 downloaded on your mobile app, and I'm just going to open it up. Now, once you open up, what you're going to see is the current account that you're using. So clearly this is a demo account, but if I actually click this button here, it's going to list all the accounts that you may have. So your current account is demo accounts. You should have some real accounts as well. Now, if you do not have a MetaTrader account set up on your mobile, a fast way to do it is you could click this plus sign here, which means you want to add an account. And then you're going to go to open a demo account. And then in the search box, you're going to just start typing in Hugo's Way. And you're going to see a whole bunch of, different things here. And you're going to select demo 3. And then all you're going to do is you're going to put your name, you're going to put your telephone number, put your email. For the account type, you want to make sure it says Hugo's Way. For your leverage, you want to make sure that you select 1 in 500 right here. Make sure that's selected. And then for deposit, make sure you put a dollar amount here. Again, this is just a real fast way to just hurry up and just get your demo accounts set up. So you can have literally, it'll sync all the demo accounts that you have. Even if you have a total different one on your desktop, your mobile device will link them all together, okay? After you've filled it out, you want to click the register button and you will be ready to go, okay? Now let's go back out. To the main screen, you'll have the demo account that you want to trade. And so the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that all my asset classes are available for me to trade in my mobile device. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to click on quotes. When you click on quotes, it will list all the asset classes that you may be willing to trade in your mobile device. Now, if you don't see it here listed, you're just going to click the add button at the right-hand corner. And then you'll be able, if you go click on indices, you'll be able to add indices that you don't have. I already have US 30, I already got NAS 100, already has SPX 500. If you don't, you will see these indices listed, and all you have to do is hit the add button and it will go into your chart. So we're done. If you want to add some stocks, maybe you want to trade Apple, or you might want to trade Boeing or something like that. All I do is I click the add for Boeing, and Boeing will be on my chart, and I'm going to click done. Okay, and so when you go to your list, all your asset classes that you like to trade should be listed. You see US 30, SPX 500, NAS 100. You also see Bitcoin here. You see a couple of currencies that is here, and you see the stock Boeing. Okay, so now that you have your asset classes set up, the next thing you want to do is you want to start getting your chart together. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go over to the right, the bottom right, and you want to click on settings. Once you click on settings, you want to go right here where it says charts. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that candlestick is selected for your chart type. So make sure it's candlesticks. You also want to make sure that these indicators are selected in green, okay? So you want period separators. I add period separators because it lets me know when one banking session ends and another one begins, because you may see a pickup in volume or when they overlap. Also, I have my trade levels. selected. So you want to make sure that you have that. The next thing that I want to do is I want to set up the colors for the background of my chart as well as my candles. So I'm going to click on colors. So hit that little selection box. And what I am going to do is, everybody know I like a black background, okay? And so I'm going to make sure that my foreground is white. And you do that by just selecting, and you'll be able to change the colors. I am selecting white, and then I'm going to click save, okay? I want my grid to not really show. I like a deep charcoal. So I'm going to click this button, and I want to make sure that I pick this color, and then I'm going to click save, okay? Now, on my desktop, I like pink and white candles. On my mobile, I like red and white. Y'all know I'm a Delta, so I'm always going to be representing. So my candles going up are white, and my candles going down is red. So I want to make sure that my bar up as well as my bull candle is the same color, and I want them to be white. So I'm just going to select white, and then I'm going to click save. Okay, and you want to do the same thing for the bull candle. You want to select white. Now for my down candles, I want my bear down as my bar down as well as my bear down to be red. Okay, so you're just going to select the colors that you want for your candles. Then as I scroll down, everything else, I pretty much leave the colors as it is, okay? If by any chance you don't like a dark background, you can click on custom scheme, and maybe you want a black on white, or you can have a green on black and then change your colors however you want. But I have mine set up, and again, I got a black background. So I'm gonna go back to colors. Okay, so now my universal chart is set up. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna hit the space to go back. And it's taking me back to my settings. And now what I wanna do is I wanna click on chart. Okay, when I click on chart, my candles are now set up. So when a candle is moving up, it's going to be white. When price action is moving down, the candle is going to be red. My dojis, it automatically shows them as green, just to let you know that it stands out from a traditional candle. You can kind of see the grid lines faded in the back. And so what I want to do is I want to go back out to quotes, because I want to pull up the US 30. So I'm going to click on quotes, bottom left-hand side. I'm going to click on quotes. Now I'm going to look for US 30. So I'm going to select US 30 by just clicking on it. And then it gives me an option. Do I want to place a trade, or do I want to go to the chart? Obviously, every time you log in on your mobile, you want to go to the chart, and then they have details. When you click on details, it's just going to give you the details of the US 30. It's 2 digits. Every time you take one position, that's 100 contract size. If for any reason you leave your trades open for more than one day, this is basically the interest rates that they're going to be charging you, basically the fees that they're going to be charging for you to hold a US 30 position for multiple days, okay? So I'm going to hit the X to exit out. And so I'm going to click on US 30 again, and I'm going to click chart. All right, so now I have the price action for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the US 30. Like I said, candles going up and candles going down. Now, if I want to shrink this down just a tad bit, I can actually place my fingers on the chart and kind of pull my fingers together. So when I pull my fingers together, it literally will make the candles smaller. And I can literally see a big picture from bird's eye view. So I can tell that there was a strong move to the upside, And currently the market is literally moving sideways. It's choppy, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. But what I also had noticed is that it was doing a pullback here because this was the high, this was a lower high, and an even lower high. So that lets me know that price action was starting to move down, okay? And again, if I want to zoom in, I just take my fingers, place it in the chart, and spread my fingers apart. And as I spread my fingers apart, the candles will get bigger, okay? So I can move left, I can move right. I can also put my fingers right here on the price grid right here, and I can move the area in and out. Use my hands, bring my fingers close to me to move out, bring my fingers away from me to magnify and make the candles bigger, okay? So I kind of like to have my positions pretty much right here. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to be able to add some indicators because I want to know when to get into this price action, okay? And so what I am going to do is, number one, make sure that I am on the right time frame in order to take a trade. So make sure that you, up in the upper left-hand corner, make sure that you got M5 picked. If you want to look at a daily, you're going to click the M5 and it's going to pull down a drop down. And you can click on, let's go to this daily here. And this is a daily look. Now, obviously, I have used this demo account to train before, so I got some preset resistance and support, some critical points already on the daily of the US 30. And once you set them, they literally stay there until you remove them. Okay, so even as it goes up and down, it is there. What you notice by looking at the daily is that there is a critical resistance area right here. That is the reason why the market is really choppy. It's a resistance here. Now, if I go down to another time frame, so I'm gonna click the D1 and I'm gonna go down to the 4 hour. Okay, I see that resistance area very clearly. This is a strong resistance. That's why the candles, even though each one of these candles represent a 4 hour time period, literally 2 candles represent 8 hours, a whole day session. And that's why they're stalling right up in here, okay? Because it's a resistance. So now I'm gonna go down to my 5 minute again. And again, that's the reason why it looks like the market is literally moving in this channel, because at the top is a strong resistance, okay? Even though it's trying to make its way up, but it's still gonna hit that level of resistance. So let's let's add some indicators. So to add some indicators, you're gonna go up to where it says F up at the top. You see this F here, you're gonna click that. That is your functions logo. So you're gonna click functions. And then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this main window. Now what we wanna do is we wanna add our moving averages. So under trend, you're gonna scroll down to moving average. And clearly I have done this before. So in the period, you wanna make sure that the period says 50. You can always change the period, but you want a 50 moving average. So this is already set. Then the shift is 0. And then under method, you want to make sure that you select the exponential moving average. Once you select it, go back and click properties. Now under apply to, you want to make sure that you are using the option that is typical price HLC divided by 3. That's what you want yours set at. And then you want to go back and you want to click properties. Then you want to go down to style and you want to click this little color button. Once you click it, you want to make sure that your 50 is set up with this magenta is already there, but you can click it right here and you want to go down, scroll down, and you want to select 4 pixels because you want your lines to be bold so that you can see them. Once you selected 4 pixels, click save. and then click done. Okay, now you got a 50 moving average on your chart. The next thing you want to do is you want to add your 200-day moving average. So once again, I'm going to go up to my functions button. I'm going to click function. I'm going to click main window again. Then I want to select moving average. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to select moving average. And this time I want to change my time period. Put my cursor here. I'm going to delete the 50 and I want to replace it with 200. Okay, so now I got the 200 moving average and I can literally leave the exponential there. I can leave the typical HLC price there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, let me go back and hit properties. Sorry. Scroll down to where it says style. I'm going to click on the color button and I want it to be like a gold. So I'm going to click gold and you'll see the gold color right here in the top bar. Scroll down and make sure 4 pixels is selected and you want to click save. Click done. And you may not see the moving average. So what you got to do is go into your price bar and scroll down. Okay. Now by shrinking the candle, I can see the 200 and I can see the 50. And I know that price action was, this was a huge breakout to the upside for the people who caught this morning. The price action, obviously it was in an uptrend. And as you can see, I had a critical point already here, which is a major resistance level. Okay, so now I got my moving average. I got the 50 and I got the 200. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to add another indicator. I want to add RSI. And so I'm going to click the functions button. And I am going to click main window. And then I am going to scroll down. And where is it? Okay, so under oscillators, I am going to select the relative strength index. That's the RSI, relative strength index. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure that the period is 14. I also want to make sure that the apply to, you want to make sure that you select close, that close is selected, then hit properties. The levels are already set at the 20 and the 80, which is what we want. And then where it says style, we're going to go down here and we are going to click this tab here. We want to make sure that we select yellow. So you're going to select yellow and make sure your pixel is 3. And then you're going to click save. Then you're going to click done. And now your RSI is at the bottom of your window, okay? And if I want to make it where this window is not this big because I literally want more room for my candles, all I got to do is take my finger and press down on the indicator. You see this little dot? When that little dot appears, you can literally drag it down to make it a small amount, because all you really want to see is the yellow line. And now you are done. And then you click if you click in the chart, the outside of the chart where the candles are, do one click, and now it's locked in. Okay, everything is locked in. So you got your moving averages and you got your RSI. And so the next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure you don't want a whole lot of lines on this because the window is just too small. So the way we draw resistance and support on our desktops, it really doesn't look good when you do it on your phone. So the only thing that I do is I create my critical points, and that's basically going to the daily time frame. So I want to click and go to the daily time frame. So you want to click on the M5, then you want to go to the daily time frame. And when you go to the daily time frame, as you can see, I already have my resistance and support set up from prior trading sessions. Okay, but I do want to show you how to draw your line. So anytime you want to draw a horizontal line, you're going to go up to where it looks like some shapes. Right here next to your function, you're going to see some shapes. I want you to click that button. And then right here, the first object is a horizontal line. And then the second object, if you want to draw a trend line, we have Fibonacci's here, but to keep it simple, we're just going to draw a line, horizontal line. Anytime you want to delete or replace a line that you have, you can select it, or you can double click it on your chart and remove it. So I'm just going to click this horizontal line, and I'm going to go up here to this top area right here, and I want to draw a line. You see the yellow line appeared, and I can just literally drag it and move it, drag it and move it. And so I'm going to drag it to the top here, and I'm literally done. And so what you want to do is you want to go to the daily time frame, and you want to draw your critical resistance and support, because you know when price action actually hits a critical point, there is going to be a stall, and there may be a change in market structure. Okay, so you want your hard ones. Now let's go back to our 5-minute chart. And like I said, you do see one critical point right here that's coming up. Again, I don't like to have a whole lot of lines because the mobile device, the screen is so small. So I have found another way for you to be able to look at resistance and support without drawing a whole bunch of horizontal lines and cluttering up your chart. So we're going to add another indicator. I want you to go to the function, click the function. Then I want you to click main window. And I want you to scroll down to where it says Bill Williams. And underneath Bill Williams, I want you to select fractals. When you select fractals, I want you to change the color to this gray. So you're going to click the drop box, and you want it to be almost like a light gray, not a dark gray because you want to be able to see it, but a light gray. And you want to select 2 as your pixels, and then you're going to select save. Then you're going to select done. You see these little points? They almost look like little triangles. These are acting as your resistance and support. And so instead of drawing a horizontal line here, a horizontal line here, a horizontal line here, and have a cluttered chart, these fractals is basically telling you where the last resistance and the last support was at. And as you can see, if you look at the current price action right here, let me zoom in. Let's look at these fractals, okay? So what you can see is if you're looking at the current price action, it's coming up on the top of a resistance line because there's a fractal here. So that is why this candle here is probably red, because again, price action hit a support. Okay, so you can use these as support, and the down arrows can be, this is resistance. So the top areas are resistance, the down arrows is support. These arrows is not designed for you to enter a trade. They are only going to be used for support and resistance to keep it simple, and you don't have to draw all the lines. Just be mindful of where the previous pixel was. So even if price action was to fall back down, it will probably stall right here in this area because this was a level of support. So it will fall here, and then here's another one. Okay, so as long as you know it's not going to fall all the way down to the bottom because there's some levels of support that's here. So this is a great tool that you can use. That way, you always know. It'll help you with your take profit. You know, once you're in a trade, when do I get out? You can look over to the left and be able to see a fractal area, okay? So I want to add one more indicator for you. This indicator you have not seen before. I have not talked about it. I have been trying to figure out a way to be able to give you confirmation that you are in the right trend, even though we do look at the candles being over the moving averages. But I also love to have my trend indicator that we have on the desktop. But obviously that is not an indicator that you can include on your mobile. So what I did is I found a workaround, and it has to be set up right. And I'm going to explain to you how it works. Now, for most people, if you understand the trends, you're comfortable with the trends, you're done. Your chart is literally set up. And what any asset class that you pull up, it will pull up in this chart format. So you don't have to save this chart. As long as you set it up, every time you go out of MetaTrader and come back in MetaTrader, you are going to see this chart. Okay, so again, this is just looking at my US 30. But let's say I have a problem with following the trend and trading with the trend. So this indicator I want you to add. This is something new. I want you to click the functions button. I want you to select main window. I want you to scroll down. No, scroll up, I'm sorry. When you scroll up under trend, I want you to select Ishimoku, Moku, Kinko, Hoi, however you pronounce it, Imishimuku, okay? I want you to select that. Now, when you select it, I want to make sure that you have your property set. You want to make sure this is 9, the Tenkan is 9, Kijan is 26, the Senku is 52. So those are the numbers, 9, 26, 52. Now, if you were to just use this indicator, you will see a gazillion lines. You will see your 50, your 200, and then this indicator produces 3 more lines. Well, we don't want to see the lines because we are already got the 50 and the 200 moving averages. We don't need the lines. All we need is the trend component. So what I want you to do is to make sure that each one of these, the style, I want you to click and make sure it's black. Select black and 1 pixel and click save. So you literally want to make each one, because what I'm saying is we don't want to see the lines. I don't want to see the lines. So select the button, make sure it says jet black and 1 pixel, save. Jet black, 1 pixel, and then save, okay? For the up, which is going to let you know when you are in a uptrend, you want it to be green. So you're going to click the button. You're going to select a green, and you're going to select 1 pixel, and you're going to click save. To know it's a downtrend, a current, which means this is intraday trading trend, I want you to click this one, which is the down Kumo. Select red, and then 1 pixel, and then save. And then click done. And you are going to see something that looks like this. Now you're probably saying, what in the world is this? Listen, it all makes sense. So here is pretty much the rule thumb. Now we're pretty much using our moving averages. I wanted to shrink this out, okay? And so basically, if you look down here at our moving average, okay, you see how the candles is in this green net. It looks like a green net. Anytime the candles are in a net, the market is moving sideways. Do not trade. Anytime the candles are above the net, it's an uptrend. And so clearly right here, If this candle broke up and broke out, and even if you got in here, you knew you were in an uptrend because this was your confirmation breakout candle where it crossed over the 50 and the 200, and this candle opened up above the 200 and the 50. Well, also the candle is above the net. And what color is the net? It's green. And so guess what? You got strong price action all the way to the upside. Then there was a pullback. It get close to the moving averages, and sometimes it'll go back up and create a new high. Now, once the candles did a pullback and they got into this green mesh, you know the market is moving sideways. So what I love about this is going to prevent you from over trading and trading in a sideways market, but you don't understand it is sideways because you can't see it. And so as long as the candles is funneling around right here, you just looking and waiting. You just looking and waiting. Candles still in the red, looking and waiting. And then guess what? It popped outside of it and did a move to the upside, okay? And so clearly when we look at our moving averages, this candle crossed over, this candle opened up, and we, with our trade, the way I teach you the strategy, you're already in a buy. But what you'll notice is when you're in the buy, it kind of moved up and down, so you might have got a little bit nervous. But once that price action got out, that little net is going to move up to the upside. And as you can see, it looked like it's trying to make its way to test this strong resistance again. So if it's enough momentum, it might break through. If it's not enough momentum, this is going to fall back down and go into the mesh, okay? Now, I'm trying to find a red. Okay, here's a good example of a red. So the price action was up high, and then it reversed and it fell back down. It went through the mesh, so you're not doing anything. And as you can see, the price action fell underneath the 50, and it's under the 50, and it's under the 200. So you already know it's falling down. And as you can see, the candles is not in mesh, it's underneath. So it's a free fall on down. And the mesh is going to be red until the trend changes, okay? So the only thing that you have to remember, when you pull up this indicator, if the candles is in some mesh, don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. And once candles clear mesh, it's going to be in one direction. It's either going to go up or it's going to be breaking down and it's going to be going down, okay? So this is the only thing that I could find it kind of made sense. At first I was like, what is all this? But it makes sense when you remove all the other moving averages that they use. And you can literally see it. It dropped, it went out, and as long as it's not near no mesh, it's going to be a strong move on to the upside. And then when it breaks, the color eventually start to turn red. The only reason why I absolutely love it is that by you seeing candles in the mesh, you will not take bad trades, okay? And so these are your indicators. You are all set, you are ready. But let's say I want to take a trade, okay? So if I want to take a trade on my mobile, okay? So what I am going to do is I am going to click trade. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to click trade. Oh, not trade, I'm sorry. Go back to the chart. I'm going to click the chart. When you touch and click the chart, a window is going to pop up and you're going to say trade. I want to trade. And then you're going to hit sell if you want to short. You can hit buy if you want to go long. So I'm going to click sell because I just want to click sell. So I'm going to hit sell market. I am in a trade. You will see my sell line right up here at the top. You will see a green sell line right here. I said I want to short. Why? Because I saw these prior resistant points. So I knew once it hit it for a little bit, it might break down a little bit, might can get a quick scalp to the downside, but I just hit sell. Now, to know if you're in the money or out the money, you're going to go down and you're going to click the trade button. When you click the trade button, as you can see, Right now, I'm out the money. It's negative $20 because this want to push up way past it, but it's going to fluctuate. But let's say I decide that I want to close a trade. Let's say I'm in the money and I want to close a trade, or in this case, I'm losing money. I want to close a trade. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold my finger right here on this open position. This is my open position. Okay. So I'm going to hold that, hold it down, and you're going to get a new window. And you can click close, and you are going to be out of a trade. So I'm going to click close, and then it's going to ask me, do I want to close with a loss of $22, $23? I'm going to say yes. I want to close my trade. I'm losing too much money. I'm going to click close, and I'm done. That's it. You're out the trade. Now, if I want to take a buy, I'm going to go back to the chart. I'm going to press in the chart. I'm going to click trade, and then I will click buy. All right. Every time I do a training video, it's some breakout move that I could have caught. Okay, so I'm in the trade. Okay, as you can see, and it's at the top. Okay, now again, if I want to get out of the trade, I'm gonna go to where it say trade. I'm gonna go to trade. Still losing money. Hold this position down. Click close. Click close. You out of a trade. Now, obviously, the desktop is always easier because all you got to do is click that X button and you're done. You can get in out of a trade faster versus all the extra buttons that you got to do when you're trading from your mobile. But that is how you do it. And so if you want to see your trade for the day, or your total profit for the day, just click this history. And as you can see in this demo, it is negative $42. But if you have some winning trades, some losing trades, every trade that you took for the day is going to be listed here. If you want to see your total week balance, profit and loss, your month, if you want to look at certain date ranges, you can click custom and you can put in different date ranges. And pretty much that is it, and that's all. And so really, you are all set up and you are all ready to trade and start making some juicy profits. Okay. I'll see you in the next training.